Welcome to another episode of a podcast that is called Being and Doing. And today I'm talking to Christine Hilcenko. And as usual, I will try to describe Christine in several words, which is very difficult because her personality is so all-encompassing that it's very difficult to say something so narrow about Christine, but I will try. The reason I think she's a great guest for this podcast is that there is this energy in her that is extremely visible at first sight that really attracted me to her. And on the surface, she's a scientist. And I think she lives her life as a scientist, extremely curious, extremely explorative. But then she also has this artistic part of herself, which notices the small things, loves the world, is amazed by the world, and is also able to nurture it. And then, again, she's not only this, but she also is a president of a charity, which is called Raymond Nicolet Trust, which is interested in helping education in Serbia. And that's all I know about her, but I'm sure there's so much more to find out. And that's why, hello, Christine.
Hello, Alexandra.
So I would just start with the question of if you are to describe yourself professionally, what would you say you are? What do you do? For how long? Why that? So we can start with that, and then from there we will go further.
Okay, so I'm a scientist. I'm a research associate in structural biology at the University of Cambridge in the hematology department. So we're working on leukemia, so on blood cancer. And I've been in Cambridge for 16 years. And I've always been interested in scientific, in medical research. I mean, I always wanted to do that since I was a little child. And but I wanted I started actually medical school. And then I stopped and switched to research. Because I wanted to understand how things were working, how you could actually ultimately change things for the better, as if disease-wise or other things like that. So I'm very happy in my job. I mean, exactly what I wanted to do, and so.
I mean, too interesting to share one story with you because I started in a similar way of thinking. So I wanted to go to medical school because I was interested in how the body works, and then I went to the science school that we both know of, and then I realized, well, you don't need to be a doctor only. You
Exactly.
can actually be a scientist.
Exactly. And I found it actually more interesting being a scientist than a doctor, because medical doctor give, tablets, whatever, but actually they don't understand, or, you need to do research to really understand how things are working. I think medical study show you how, description of your body or description of everything, but not how things are working. So yes,
I mean, I guess the good doctors would know both, but
yes,
but the best thing is the combination.
Exactly. Yeah.
Between the two, the communication.
Exactly.
I guess,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. I agree with you.
And actually, when was it that you felt this is the job I want to do? This I really like, and what was that feeling like?
It was, as I said, since I was a little child. I mean, I think it was. Because, as I said, I wanted to do something to change the world, and I mean, not change the world in a big way, but to make the world a better place. You know what I mean? For example, sick people, or So, and to do that, you need to understand how things work. So, I never changed my mind. I always wanted to do that. So it was very early on. I mean. And as I say, I went to medicine and then I switched and I say, okay, medicine is not exactly what I want to do. I mean, I need to really understand a little bit better. But I have no regret at all about my past. And I think even, I think always when there's an opportunity somewhere or a door somewhere, I never think actually twice. I always go through this door. And I say, okay, I'm going to go there and see what is out there. if it is a mistake or if it's not the right path, that doesn't matter. I'm going to learn more by doing mistake and maybe not going the right path. After I can join another path, I can join maybe a path which is maybe better for me, or a path where I would feel happier. But it doesn't matter. I never hesitate for anything. I just go through the door, and then I see, and at least I know what is after the door. Because if you never cross this door, then you will never know. So
yes, there was this message you sent me about not being afraid to leave your path, because you just never know which tools for your other path you will collect.
Exactly. And you never know, if you don't go through this door, you never know what is out there. You know, it might not be what you want, but how do you know if you never go this path? You have to go this path, and then you learn plenty of things about yourself.
Oh, absolutely.
I mean, especially what you don't like. You know, I mean, you have to know. If you don't experience it, then you will never know what you don't like or what you don't want. You know, like you might have a goal. Okay, it is what I like, but maybe it's not exactly what you like. I mean, like.
And I want to ask you here, so normally what stops people from going through these doors is fear.
Yes.
And fear of the unknown. And I tend to feel it in myself, although I'm very much like you, I always go. But I would like to go through it with less hesitation, let's say. Do you feel that fear? And if you do sometimes, how do you deal with this?
I must say I don't feel this fear, because maybe, you know, when you're a bit older, you maybe have, I mean, I might have when I was younger, maybe more fear. But I think that the excitement and the desire to discovery is higher than actually the fear. I mean, I need to see what is out there. I need to see what is behind this door, and that is beyond fear. You know what I mean? That's stronger than the fear. So that we go. I'm too curious to just stay behind the door. I have to see what it is on the other side. I mean, for me, like life, I live life fully. You know what I mean? I want to just discover, meet as many people as I can, as many cultures as I can, as many things as I can. So you're not going to do that by just staying in one room.
Oh, absolutely not, yeah.
You have to go there, and that's it, and that's good. Like, even if it's, there's plenty of things, bad things, good things, but it's life, that's the world, like, it's good.
And I'm curious, what was the most surprising thing you discovered on all of those journeys you had? What was something that really almost like shook you to the core that you were not expecting?
Oh, it's a difficult question.
You can have a think about it.
Yes, I don't know.
After, like, you can have a think in the back of your head while we are going with some other questions. And then again, another part of you is obviously helping people. You do that, to my knowledge, this time through the charity, but if there are other ways, please share them with us. Where did this come from, and how did it develop? And tell us more about the charity itself so that people are aware of what you are doing and how it's working.
So I think I think your character is shaped by your childhood, I think, so I think it comes from my childhood and my upbringing, like from my parents. And my parents were very open-minded people, and very they did a lot of philanthropy as well, and they are what you call humanists. They love people, and they love like discovering other culture. At home there were always plenty of people from everywhere. It was, so I think that shaped my how I am. My personality. And having there always those people from different culture, and always they taught me, being human is to just like try to help people, and especially to give back, because we were lucky, we were, not a rich family, but we could live nicely and whatever. But so you have obviously, when you are older, try to find a job where you can actually give back what you had, and change the world, and make and help people which haven't been so lucky, So they always told me that, and I always, even when I was a child, I've been, when I was at medical school, I've been to Africa, like for 2 years, to help an African doctor, and it was always there. So that's come from my upbringing. I mean, my parents were like that as well, and I think you need to, and especially for that, you need to, like, especially we are a lot of people now. We need to be able to support each other. I mean, like to share resources, because now there's so many people in the world. Like, if we don't do that, there's going to be a point where there will be not enough food. There will be not enough resources. So we need to be able to work together to be able to share those resources. And I mean, especially not to have just, a resources which is concentrated in one part of the world where, the money is or whatever. No, share, like, that is important. And I mean, and that's why it's important as well to do, like, when we can, when we have the facility, like the charity, try to see where our help is needed. My parents see it this way as, we are there, we are part of a big, like, if you want, like, to change humanity, to make a better place, every human being is a little stone, if you want, to have a little part in it. So if everybody is doing a little bit, then you can, all together, we can change the world. I mean, it's like science, like every little step counts. I mean, so... Yes. And so that's why and one of the friends of my parents, like Raymond Nicolet, was a journalist, and he was like doing a lot of philanthropy and helping. He spent his life helping children, I mean, mostly, and through, again, the same sort of attitude, through discovering like other culture as well, not only children in France, but I mean, try to discover people and see, what was needed and how it could change humanity. So that's why when I was invited to Serbia like a few years ago, and at the same time when I was invited, he died, and in his will he left a lot of money, I mean, to my son and other things. So I thought, well, what could I do with this money? How could I, change things? And that's why I decided to create this charity which bears his name. I mean, to support education in Serbia, because when I've been there, I could see the challenge, like teachers were facing there. I mean, like, and again, it's another culture. So I mean, it's not you helping, but then you discover yourself as well. You enrich yourself as well. So it's going both ways. I mean, obviously, we give to them, but I mean, they give a lot to me, because I learn a lot of things as well. So, I mean, everything needs to go both ways, in my opinion, to work.
So there are many questions that stem from this, but I would start with, can you say more about Raymond Nicolet? Because I don't know, and I would say it's important to honor what he did. Yes. So maybe that would be the first question, and then we can go forward.
So Raymond Nicolet was a French journalist. He was the director of a French newspaper called Les Républicains, and he has always so he loved, like, he was an humanist. What I mean by that, as I say, he loved people. He loved humanity in a whole. He loved, like, discover new culture, discover new people. I mean, and he was always, like, obviously he was writing a lot of articles, and he was always, like, discovering new things, and he was not afraid, like, to speak his mind, which I love. Sometimes you just fear, depending of the social environment or the cultural environment at this time. Okay, you're not going to say something. He always speak his mind, but keeping respect as well, not like being too offending or whatever. And he was like, so he first started, it was interesting, his life is very interesting. He first started as a police inspector when he was very young, and because of the war, and because, I mean, in France, obviously there was collaboration between, like, the German government and especially the police was involved. So he decided, he has this true belief. He decided, I can't be involved in that. So he quit police. He went into the resistance, like very young. I mean, he was 25, whatever. And then he helped as well, obviously, Jewish people, I mean, to hide. I mean, he really support all those people during the war. So from that, he got a lot of not award, like recognition from the French government and the English government as well. And after a while, so after the war, because he hasn't discovered enough, obviously, he went to Africa and was obviously doing some trading and exchanging, selling things and etc. for a while, and then again to discover people. And then after, he went back to France and then became a journalist. So imagine the pathway. He was not afraid, to explore different paths and then come back to another path. And but he was always like trying to help people, and each time helping. Especially like children, orphan. Like when he died, he gave a lot of his money to an orphan charity in France. Like his full house, he gave it to the charity for to be able to welcome like orphan and stuff like that. He was always like thinking of other before himself. That's why this charity has to bear his name. Because this charity has the same value of his value. So I think that, and he would have loved to explore, to go to Serbia, to meet those children. He must be so happy to look what we are doing. Like.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. I'm sure, because I'm happy looking at it, and someone who has actually made it happen.
Yes.
It would have been very satisfying to watch something being built like
and
this.
He was always as well, always happy. He would never complain. Like I say, instead of giving up some time or criticizing something, he will try to find a solution. Exactly, to say, okay, there's always a solution to everything. Sometimes you don't find it first, but at least you try, or you go towards this direction. He was a very positive person like me. So we were getting on very well, and he was the godfather of my son.
Son.
Yeah.
Oh, that is beautiful. And so along the lines of when you give, a lot more comes back to you. What do you think was the most that you got from Serbia and from the children and from everything that you have built so far in this process?
I think it is especially children. I think it's important to be sure each child, in the world has the same access to education, because they are the future of a country. It is, and it is not only. It's not only obviously they will get job and to make this economy stronger, but I'm talking even more importantly for me. It is the future of ideas and how everything will shape Serbia. So it's important that those children are able to think freely. What I mean, like they don't have they can have access to any kind of support, or not for example, be. If you have your mind occupied by material things, if you don't have access, then you can't think about something else. So they have to have access to everything to be able to have their mind free and to be able to be creative and this kind of thing. And just to each time I go to Serbia, like we've been in February, and we did like a little not reward ceremony, because we organized like an art competition. And they have organized like a music. Some children were playing an instrument, and some of them were reading poems. It was beautiful just to see that for me. Just to see that they were like happy, make me happy. You know what I mean? Just to see them, especially children. So that's just to see them happy. That's enough for me. Like I can say, okay, I made a difference there. Like they're not, and then they will become like creative adult, an adult which is going to change as well, like they're going to give back as well. They will be able to give back because we gave something to them.
Yes.
That would be.
Yeah, that speaks also about the scarcity mentality that we often have, because we constantly repeat ourselves the stories. There's not enough resources, things are bad, everything is bad. And then when we live from that mentality, it's very difficult to bring up people who will give if we are not able to bring ourselves in that mentality. So you said that that your family brought you that mentality because they gave a lot. But have you witnessed places where, you know, the family was not able to give that, and what you provided through education or through these competitions actually almost liberated the child from this scarcity mentality? So how does, like, did you see that shift in your work, and how does that feel for you?
Yeah, exactly. It is exactly what I was saying. Like, you know, if you have to have somebody when you are young which show you, you know, obviously that you, I mean, it taught you how to give back, etc. But if you are in a place or in a situation where you cannot, because materially you cannot, and because you've got other problems to think of, I mean, then you cannot do that. So I mean, you have to be able to have that, and I think I could see that exactly as you say with children. Like, if you know they have, like, you know, their mind free and they have access to everything and don't have to struggle every day, then obviously they can spend their mind to other things, you know, like creative, and think about other people like they were not doing before. But if you are constantly, you know, struggling, you know, all the day, every day, like, you cannot do that. That's understandable. I mean, like, so.
Yeah. And now if we just try to tie in this story, the idea of success, because I find you extremely successful. What was the first time that you were conscious of success as a concept? And did you ever feel successful yourself? Or is that not part of your thinking as per se at all, actually?
I mean, I don't like the word success at all. Yeah. I mean, and I will explain why. I mean, first, the definition of success for me is different in different culture, in different society, at different time as well. You know, maybe, and I think nowadays in our society, success is just linked to professional success.
Yes.
And for me, I mean, like, my job, like, I mean, I love science, and I mean, it's just a tool to go where I want to go. You know what I mean? What I mean, my goal is obviously try to help others and to change the life of people which are not less fortunate. So, and I use my job to do that. So I won't call it, for me, I won't call it success. For me, for me, success will be happiness within yourself. You know, like. And then I feel happy, you know, when, and I mean, that can be, you know, obviously long term, short term, at different period of your life, you know, like maybe, you know, like when I went to Africa, like, you know, for example, to help this doctor, then I was very happy there. I maybe within myself, you know, because I discovered a lot of people, and I could see I was changing lives. So that was, you call it as a success. But I think success for me is more happiness, you know, within yourself. So I mean, like, for me, like, for example, during a day, I will feel successful when I'm happy. You know, I've done everything I could to, you know, for example, if I make somebody happy, you know, during that day, then I call it a success. You know, I will be, then I say, oh, no, I had a successful day. Then, you know, I didn't waste. You know, for me as well, you don't want to waste your time doing nothing, like, in terms of helping people or giving back, you know. I mean, like, then I feel happy if during my day I help one person or make somebody happy or be kind to somebody. And it's a simple thing. It doesn't have to be, you know, professional success to get, like, whatever, like how many award, whatever. I mean, for me, it's not too important. Like, just a tool, you know, like the profession, just a tool to discover thing. Or, but. You know.
And then. In those terms, when you use your profession as tools, there are always challenges, and there are always, even if your vision of success is to help someone, it's not always easy to do that. So how do you overcome those obstacles, and what are the tools or resources inside you that you use to not complain, or, as you described, Raymond Nicolet, the person that is always searching for a solution? what is that in you that helps you to do that?
But that, I think, like science, I mean, my job helped me to do that, as you say, because I set up a goal, like it might be very high at the beginning, but I say, okay, I might not achieve it the first time, or I might need like, I don't know, like 10 steps to achieve it. That doesn't matter, if I just every day, I need to just go forward a little bit. Even if one day I go forward just 2 millimeters, it's still 2 millimeters. It's still like a step forward. And that doesn't matter. It can, as you say, some obstacles are harder, to go through than others, but that doesn't matter. Maybe the day after, I will do a bigger step, and that's it. But at the end, I'm going up, I'm going towards this goal, and it's important. It's important bit. So, and Raymond was like that as well, and I'm quite a very positive person. I say, like him, I say, there's always a solution to everything. Like you might not find it. It might be, as you say, very hard, but that doesn't matter. You have to have that in as a goal, and then you go towards this direction, and then you might, as I say, you might need to go maybe a different path to find it, but that's fine. You have to at least have that in mind, and then work towards this goal. I mean, and even if one day you do a little step, that doesn't matter. Still a step. Yes. Every step counts. You know that in research. Like, yes. and as well, is important thing that I haven't mentioned is that is obviously richer and more important, and when you work as a team as well. Because you do imagine if you're alone, okay, you do your little step, but as a research team or everything, or as a charity. If everybody work together, little steps, then you make bigger steps.
Bigger steps. So. And along those lines, because sometimes it is difficult to gather people around the same goal so that you can make those small steps. How do you find people you collaborate with, and how do you form this feeling of our goal is common and that you see that people are willing to contribute? Because that sometimes is the most challenging task, no?
No, but I try to I try not to put not too much pressure on them, because I understand, for example, the volunteer. Everybody at a charity, they are volunteers, so they have other things to do. That's fine. But again, I try to say, okay, that's our goal there, and you do your part when you can, and I try to find where they could, depending on what they are looking for, where they could fill their path as well, where that their contribution to the charity will make them happy. So that would be a contribution to the charity, but that would be as well a contribution to make them happier as well, to try to discover themselves, hopefully, and I think that seems to work. So.
Oh, it does work for me.
And as I say, as a team, it's nice because they could meet again. It's an opportunity to meet people. So I say to discover themselves through those people, so.
And in that sense, also, what I always struggle with is again giving people space to express themselves. Does that come natural to you, or is it something that you practiced over time? Or
No. I say I found it. I tried not to. It's difficult, obviously, in our society where we have, a lot of pressure, and everything needs to be done quickly.
Yes,
then
yeah.
no, you have to give time to people to as you say, to find their creativity, and or else you don't achieve anything. I think people don't work well if they are stressed and they don't take time. And if it's like when you walk, as I was saying before, your little step, it's a step. But if you rush too much, you might just fall. You know what I mean? And then you have to go back actually to redo your step. So I think you need this space, yeah.
And that's actually the reason that the podcast is called Being and Doing, is actually the balance between how are you doing and how are you being at the same time, and how do you keep that constant leverage between the two. Because if you just do, then there's also not point to live to life, and if you are just being, then you're also not productive. So how do you achieve that balance?
It is
because you are a very doing person.
Yeah, but everything I'm doing make me happy.
Yes.
And I mean, as I was saying at the beginning, like we're talking about success. So success for me is happiness, so myself. So I find it really rewarding. I feel very, very good. I mean, give me even more energy to do even more things. Like, and it doesn't have to be as I was saying before. It doesn't have to be like quick, whatever. But just to have some goal, at least to have some project, and to put people together. Then that make me happy. So I mean, like. Then
you create a positive feedback loop for yourself.
Yeah, exactly. I'm happy, and then I hope, like through my energy and my happiness, other people will be happy, and then it is what you want. You want to live your life this way, and then I say through that, and you make less fortunate people happy, which is etc. It's like snowball, like
yeah. And then when you always have this extreme bias towards positivity and towards solution kind of oriented thinking. Is there a pain or some mistakes that shaped you in a way that the happiness didn't, or like some struggles that you've gone through that you are of course willing to share that really shaped you profoundly and then even made you better in the happiness somehow?
I don't think so. I mean, because I say like...
Or you don't see them as pain, actually.
Yeah, exactly. Because I'm very, very positive, and even the mistake, I don't call them mistake for me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? They're like...
So how do you call them? What is that
It's
in your
not
head?
a mistake. It's an experience, let's say.
Okay.
Every little thing for me is a positive... add to my life or to my experience. And I don't see them as a mistake. I see them as experience. I mean, and because I'm thinking positively, everything, even if it's not what I want, or even if you call it, like a negative experience, it still make me think and make me realize, okay, maybe I don't want that. So I mean, it's a positive add. I mean, to my life at the end. Like, so I mean, for me, it's not a... I don't call it a mistake. I mean, you have to call it an experience. You have to experience. I want to experience as many things as I can,
yes.
because then it will enrich myself, and then build my personality, and I will discover myself. So I don't call it. I won't call it mistake.
That's really beautiful, actually. I think I will change that in my vocabulary from now on. And then. When we talk about navigating your path, what were let's say, the more difficult changes or the more difficult truths that you were faced with, that you were maybe for some time not maybe even willing to accept because they were so difficult, but then finally when you accepted them, reality became richer and better?
I think the thing I'm struggling to change, like which sometimes, like, it's not struggling, which annoyed me, and is like prejudices, like prejudices of people, like, because that just it's like a wall to everything. You know what I mean? If you want, obviously, to discover yourself, like I said, to go through this door, if you have prejudices then you're not going anywhere. For me, it's like...
So are you talking about prejudices inside yourself, or or prejudices that are present in society or in
But both,
someone else?
Actually, to answer your... it's both, actually. I think we tend to have like preconceived ideas, like which are, as you say, shaped by the society at a time or everything. And I think that is very difficult for people, and even for myself, in general, to change. And you need to be able to say, okay, like I've been too, you need to realize, okay, I've been too, I don't know, selfish there. I've been too selfish. I need to change. And I mean, you need to recognize, your weakness to be able to correct them, and that is difficult. I think that everybody found it difficult. I mean, at least first to recognize them, that's for, and then to be able to correct them and to work around that. But
And do you have an active process, a conscious process to do that, or is it something that is just because the interactions are coming and then you're seeing something is not working and then you start thinking about it? So how do those changes happen in you?
Oh, it's not an active process. I think it is. It's coming like that with all the interaction. I mean, if something is not right, or I say, oh, yeah, it's just coming by itself. But you have to do that, I think, and you have to be aware of what is around you. Be really like as you were saying. But I think being a scientist that help as well. Be able to observe everything. And yeah, be able to observe anything and take back and processing, and you need to take times again, to observe things. These people don't have time to do that.
Yes. And how do you give yourself time and space and kindness?
But I don't know. It's like it's like a different level. It can be a little something which take 5 minutes, so that. Or more things. So, I mean, it's like all the time,
or your garden.
Yeah, well, exactly. It can be no kindness. Can be not. It's not only. It's a behavior. You know what I mean? It doesn't have to be a material thing or towards somebody. It's like a general behavior. Like it would be, I say, like kindness to my son or kindness to, I don't know, so.
So it just
doesn't need space. I mean, I don't
life.
think it needs space to be kind. I mean, you have to
Yeah.
just be it all the time, or try to be all the time. Sometimes you are tired or whatever, but at least go towards that. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
try your best, to be kind.
To embody that.
Exactly. Yeah, because sometimes I say you don't have, you're tired or don't have the mind, but at least you try to.
I mean, and also like what is amazing for me is that your brain or like your mental space does not even have this concept of self-judgment, of loathing, of kind of oh, Christine, why did you do this? So what do you think shaped that kind of thinking? Because it's really beautiful. If you have that kind of headspace, it's very natural and easy to project that beauty on other people. So do you nurture it? Are you conscious of it? Because I observe it, but I'm I'm not really I can't sit and understand where it comes from, but you know it better, basically.
I don't know, actually. I don't know the answer to your question. I mean, I don't nurture it, or I try to, I mean, maybe we'll answer one part of your question. I try and I learn, I mean, like, to remove any negativity from my life. I mean, like, and I mean, you have some all the time. I mean, that's not coming from you, but it can come from the outside or whatever. But I try to, I know that that's not going to help me. You know what I mean? It's not going to help me. Why should I keep those negativities? So I try to reach them. I've got maybe, I would say maybe an armor against that. I try to reject any negativity. Like for example, a person which comes with negative thought, okay, I'm not going to take them. I would try, I mean, obviously to help this person to remove this negative, because that's not going to help you go anywhere.
And just to kind of round up this story of success is who really inspired you? We mentioned Raymond, but are there other people that really, and your family, that really shaped your visions of success as being of service, of being kind and being good to other people?
It's like, as you say, mainly like my parents and my friends that I choose. So obviously I learn from them. I mean, it's like everything, friendship, whatever. It go both directions. You give to somebody, they give you back, in other way. But so, and then Raymond Nicolet. But I think it's everybody. You don't realize it. But I mean, you observe everybody and you get something from them. I think so. Yeah, I mean, there's a few big figures which through your childhood will nurture you and help you, but I think every day or it's by observing everybody, and I think everybody
is a universe.
No, it's true. Yeah. Yes, exactly.
And now I will just go back to the small questions, rapid fire, because to be conscious of your time and and the fact that we have a meeting after this. So what is a book, a present, or an idea? It doesn't have to be all three that you give to other people the most, that you like to give.
Yeah, The Little Prince.
The Little Prince.
And that is, I mean, it's not automatically The Little Prince as a book, but I love the author, so Antoine de Saint-Exupéry, because again, he was an humanist. You know what I mean? And that is this word is very important to me. I mean, because that covers everything. You know, he traveled a lot, you know, like everywhere. He observed people. He wrote about people. He wrote about men, you know, like humanity and men in general. That is very important to me, you know, like you have to love, you know, like men and humanity to be able to change that and know how to discover them and to meet them. And I mean, Antoine de Saint-Exupéry was doing exactly that. You know, he was traveling, you know, he was coming from a very rich family. He could have stayed in his castle doing nothing. No. I mean, he went like everywhere. He enrolled, you know, he was an aviator, you know, like at one point. And then doing that and during the war, and he was writing a book. He was meeting people, writing book, and I mean, and he died obviously in his plane. And The Little Prince is a lovely book because it's about that, you know, about discovering different, you know, going to every planet. I mean, different people and that's perfect.
Yes.
That's really that. Exactly.
I have it in several languages.
Yeah, me too. I'm collecting in all languages.
Yes, me too.
I mean, that's a wonderful book. And I mean, the people should read as well the other book is done. Because we talk about The Little Prince because it's very famous. But all the book is done. In all the books, you see, you have already a clue about how he was. You know, like some Terre des Hommes, there's homme, you know, there's men, humanity. There's like Courrier du Sud, like trip, you know, that's somebody which was open to the world, you know, open to humanity. I mean, that's important. I mean, I am as well. I mean, it's how you chancing. You have to be, you know, like open to those people, you know, to everybody, or else nothing change, you know, like.
Yes, absolutely. You need to nurture the plants in order for them to grow.
Exactly. Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. And then, what is an absurd thing that not many people know about you? Yes, sometimes
just my friend knows that. So I had a diving accident like 14 years ago, like or 10 years ago. And I lost because I broke my internal ear. So I lost the balance. No, it's okay. I'm good now. But I haven't recovered like 100%. So if I'm in the dark, then I can't walk straight. And in the lab, for example, they were actually laughing at me. They were asking me just to laugh at me, just to close my eyes and try to walk straight. And I can't. And for example, if I've got a cold, so imagine if I've got my hair blocked, and if it's a bit dark, then definitely I can't walk straight the stair. So
wow.
That's okay, but as I say, I take it as a positive.
Of
it's
course.
not an issue with me.
It just means you lived.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I found it, so not everybody, I mean, just my friend, you know, about the accident, and my lab, obviously.
Yes.
That's good.
That's really funny. And what kind of compliments do you like to receive? Or what kind of compliments, when you receive them, really make you feel good?
But that make a difference, you know. I don't like compliments so much. I mean, I don't.
That is also a valid answer. I had a very interesting answer from a friend who said, "I don't want others' people vision of me, positive or negative, to influence me."
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like compliment or
And what has become more important and what less important to you over time, with you getting the experience of getting wiser and more mature?
But definitely material things, getting
less important.
It's less important for me, like, you know, people or, you know, like my friend. I mean, like material thing, expensive or not. I mean, it's not important for me.
They're just useful.
Exactly.
Yes. And yeah, just to finish off, is there something you would like to ask yourself that you were dying to be asked by someone, but just no one really noticed that about you?
I don't know. I think your interview was very good, actually. No, it was very good because it was about personality and the charity and no, I think you did a good job.
Thank you. That's a compliment I'm willing to
Yes.
accept. Okay, so just for the end, where can people find the charity and more information about it? And where can people, if they want, connect with you?
So, I don't know about that. So we can. So we got a website. So if you Google like Raymond Nicolet Trust, you find we've got a website, a Facebook page, and
an Instagram page.
An Instagram page. So they can just say some contact details there. And I mean, we'd be very happy to have more people and then to discover more people. And,
yes, and help in different ways,
Exactly.
which unexpected ways.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Okay, well, thank you, Christine,
Yes.
for your time. And it's amazing to know you. You have just heard the story of Dr. Christine Hilcenko, a scientist at the Medical Research Council at the University of Cambridge and the co-founder of the Raymond Nicolet Trust charity. Her determination to succeed in her full-time job as well in her charity work is inspirational for everyone involved to surpass the goals of the charity to support as many schools as possible. You can find more information about her and the charity on raymondnicolettrust.com. Thank you for joining me on this journey, and please subscribe and spread the word so that these stories can reach more people.